Coming up in today's newscast, Prime Minister Netanyahu invites controversial Brazilian President-elect Jair Bolsonaro for a visit. Israeli model and fashion mogul Bar Refaeli releases a new ad that's making waves for all the wrong reasons. And Transportation Minister Yisrael Katz heads to Oman to promote his landmark Tracks for Regional Peace initiative. In yet another blow to regional peace or negotiations, the PLO Central Council has just announced its decision to suspend recognition of the State of Israel, pending Israel's recognition of the State of Palestine at the pre-1967 lines and with East Jerusalem as its capital. Such preconditions aren't necessarily new, however, and have never been taken seriously by Israeli officials. Education and Security Cabinet Minister Naftali Bennett responded saying, quote, "The charade has ended. The PA has shown their true colors. The Palestinians are not interested in a peace and never have been," end quote. Finance Minister Moshe Kahlon also slammed the PLO, stating, quote, "This is a big mistake. Over the last year, Ramallah has become more and more extreme and is torpedoing any chance of an agreement," end quote. But nonetheless, the PLO said that a committee will be created to examine this recommendation, which still needs President Abbas's final signature. Now, if the PLO follows through, it would be considered another step away from compliance with the 1993 Oslo Peace Accords. But mainly, the statement highlights the frustration of Fatah and the PLO regarding the changes that the Trump administration has brought to the Middle East. Relations between the United States and the PA are at an all-time low, with the Trump administration closing the PA's representative office in D.C., cutting its financial assistance to the PA and UNRWA, and recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. President Trump is also expected to unveil his long-awaited peace plan in the coming months, but already the PA has publicly rejected the plan on principle alone, widening the gap to be crossed for regional peace. Prime Minister Netanyahu and other Israeli officials didn't wait long to congratulate newly elected Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. Only a few hours after finding that the far-right candidate had won the vote, Netanyahu personally called him to congratulate him and invite him to the Holy Land. ILTV's Joy Gavijon has the update. Joy?
Aaron, yes, as you said, Bolsonaro won the elections with more than 55% of the votes against Haddad.
Which in Brazilian elections is
It's a lot.
That's
it's a lot of people. Yes,
sure.
Exactly. So as soon as Netanyahu heard about this, he called him to congratulate him, and he expressed his intentions to strengthen the ties and to improve the relations between the two countries. And he took this opportunity to invite him to the Holy Land to visit.
Well, I mean, he's not alone. I mean, the Knesset Speaker Yudi Edelstein and Eli Cohen, another minister in the government, he called Bolsonaro their friend and invited them also and congratulated them.
Yeah, exactly. There were many others that followed these compliments. But the truth is that Bolsonaro is an open pro-Israel advocate, and it looks like he's going to be including Israel in his first international trip as the newly elected president of Brazil. And according to some reports, he's going to go to 3 countries. First of all, he's going to go to Chile, then he's going to go to the United States to meet with President Trump.
All right.
And he's going to finish here in the Holy Land.
So we are on his first docket, first itinerary.
Yes, the first one.
That's pretty big. I mean, that's at least putting your money where your mouth is a little bit with his pro-Israel speak. When is this visit supposed to happen?
We don't know yet. There are no official dates. What we know is that Bolsonaro has to go through a surgery. So this is going to happen only after that, and it's probably going to be close to when he takes office on January 1st. It could be a little before, a little bit after. We don't know.
All right, we'll stay tuned because we're going to talk about this a little bit more in just a second, okay? Thank you, Joy.
Of course.
All right, now returning to the studio with more on the evolving relationship with Brazil is Davidi Hermelin, the president of the International Center for Public Diplomacy in Israel. Davidi, thank you so much for coming in and coming back.
Shalom.
So first of all, let me bring you into the conversation. What are your initial reactions to Bolsonaro's win, and how do you see this affecting Israel and Israel-Brazil relations?
First of all, I disagree with the definition far right. I think he's candidate of the central right or even of classic right.
Well, I think in this case, the far right describes some of his really very controversial, if not disgusting comments. Some of them.
Maybe, but the comments are when you are talking about right or far right, style is not criteria, one of the criteria of far or legitimate
Well, he's expressed
right.
support for previous dictatorships in Brazil. He said he wouldn't rape a colleague of his.
Listen, I don't watch the Brazilian media. So I don't really know what he said. And with all due respect, I don't trust the world media while they are talking about candidates in the world, because anyone who is, which is one step to the right compared to Hillary Clinton, is almost a fascist. So I don't know if he is far right or legitimate right. He is from the central right party of Brazil, which is a well-known country, party. And I just visited Brazil exactly this month, 2 years ago, for 1 month. And I saw all the poverty around and the gap between the poor people and the rich people. And all the bad reputation of socialism you could see in the street. And I think that it was clear that Brazil needs change. Now on the screen we can see the streets, I guess, of Rio de Janeiro. The city of the new elected president, and we all know the photos from the Carnival of Brazil. But when you go there in the streets as adult or even few adults, not during the time of a carnival, you just live in fear. And the place that we felt the most secure atmosphere was in the favelas, because then the mafia was responsible for the security, so you could know that everything is okay. But you cannot trust the police and all the normal, let's say, average citizens are behind bars, inside their homes, under fear, and you can understand why the Brazilian people want the change, and also why they do want that citizens will have guns to protect themselves from the criminals, because the criminals already have the guns. And one last thing. We, as citizens of the world, when we come to judge politics of other countries, we always try to be like we are the citizens of those countries. I think that as Israelis and Jews, first and foremost, the most important thing to us should be what is better, what could be better for the Jewish people and its state. And for sure, the new government in Brazil will be better than the former one, the leftist one, and all the rest is less important. It can be very important for the Brazilians, not to us.
Now, my question is, we know that Brazil has one of the largest Jewish communities in the world, like the third one in Latin America, I think. So how are his politics going to affect them, and also Israel? Like, we know about probably like the moving of the embassy. What else is going to affect Israel?
Even in the favela, I found 3 Jews that they don't have
Jews or Druze?
Jews. 3 Jews, and it was very exciting to find them there. Of course, in bigger cities, you have bigger congregations. I think that as they lived until now, it will be, with heavy security in the synagogues, very not in public. But I think that the situation of Israel as a country will be better.
All right, Davidi Hermelin, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Joy, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, following up in Pittsburgh, anti-Semitic terrorist Robert Bowers appeared before a federal judge in court yesterday where he acknowledged his crimes. And Bowers has been charged with 29 federal criminal counts, several of which could lead to the death penalty. Following up in Pittsburgh, anti-Semitic terrorist Robert Bowers appeared before a federal judge in court yesterday where he acknowledged his crimes. And Bowers has been charged with 29 federal criminal counts, several of which could lead him to the death penalty. Last Saturday's Tree of Life synagogue massacre in Squirrel Hill, Pittsburgh was the deadliest known anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history, and Bowers had a history of posting anti-Semitic racially charged messages on social media sites, and in addition he purchased 6 guns over the past 22 years. United States Attorney for the Western District of Pennsylvania, Scott Brady, vowed that there would be justice for the victims.
My office charged Robert Bowers with federal murder and assault charges relative to the horrific acts of violence he committed at the Tree of Life synagogue. Our investigation of these hate crimes continues, and rest assured we have a team of prosecutors working hard to ensure that justice is done.
The Tel Aviv International Synagogue hosted a commemoration ceremony for the victims last night, and at the service organized by the Keep Olim movement and several rabbis and members of the community, dozens of mourners in the community, including several new Olim from Pittsburgh, were brought together. Speaking at the ceremony, Colonel Oliver Rafowitz said, quote, "In Israel and in Tel Aviv, we are sending tonight our full support and full solidarity with the Jewish community in Pittsburgh. When Jewish people, wherever they live, are killed or wounded only because they're Jews, it makes no difference. It's the same beast, and now the beast is rising its head again. We have to fight back," end quote. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Netanyahu offered his criticism and rebuttal to Israel's chief Orthodox Rabbi Lau, who said that he would not refer to the place of the massacre as a synagogue because it wasn't Orthodox. Netanyahu tweeted, quote, "Jews were killed in a synagogue. They were killed because they are Jews. The location was chosen because it is a synagogue. We must never forget that. We are one," end quote. Israeli supermodel and fashion guru Bar Refaeli is making headlines again this week, but it's not for the great prices on her line of eyeglasses. No, this time Refaeli is turning heads for her highly contentious Hoodies brand ad campaign, which just recently released this preview commercial. Check it out.
It's all about freedom, finally breaking the chains, costing my freedom. Freedom is basic. Hoodies.
ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh is here with me now with more on this. Emmanuel, I'm just going to start. What is this?
You said more on this, and I really don't have more on this. I have this. She's currently wearing a burqa, taking it off. The phrase, for those who don't know, it says Iran is here.
Yeah, with a question, Iran is here.
I don't know where or who or what marketing PR manager allowed this to happen, where they thought that this would be the best way to symbolize that Israelis are free to dress how they feel or do whatever they please.
You're already not forced to wear a burqa
But
here.
First of all, and in my opinion, the way that I took it was kind of mocking the culture and the idea of wearing a burqa, which I get. Certain countries force upon women the fact that they need to wear burqas.
Sure.
But so we're in Israel right now.
But some women want to wear the burqa. Some
and I
women
know
want to wear hijab.
plenty of women.
Yeah.
You're in Israel. Why didn't you take the religious women that have to wear wigs and have to wear
I think we can take it. I think we can even take it from a different aspect. Substitute the burqa now for a wig for Orthodox
That's
Jews
what I'm saying,
or a kippah.
Exactly.
And
why didn't you take that off? Where is the freedom there? I am beyond furious with this commercial, and what really makes me laugh is actually this isn't the full commercial. The full commercial is
this
coming
is like
out.
an ad for the ad.
And there was an ad in Israel-Oman, one of the biggest newspapers here in Israel, which I am shocked. And it was just that face with her burqa, with the burqa on,
burqa.
Which I don't know how. I really don't know how people allowed this to happen. In my opinion, it's really mocking, and it's just
it's taking a jab at an entire culture, honestly.
Yeah,
and kind of grouping them as a monolith.
And I get the message. I get freedom is basic. That's definitely the motto that's been going on the past couple of years. We should be able to do whatever we want and be whoever we want and wear whatever we want. But this was definitely not the way to take it. Apparently, the real commercial is going to star, a transgender actress and model here in Israel, which is great. But why didn't we do that from the start? Why did we?
Well, and beyond that, I mean, again, my question is more to the point. Why mock an entire culture?
Right.
Why go that route?
I'm sure she wasn't going to do that.
happen?
And of course, this came out the day before or 2 days before the elections here in Tel Aviv, which people thought, this is going to be a political statement. And it wasn't.
What do you think about the whole idea that this is, bad press is good press in this situation?
This is bad press. This isn't good press. And a lot of people will say the opposite, but not in my opinion, not this one.
All right, well, Emmanuel, thank you for coming and sharing your opinion today.
Yes, thank you.
After Netanyahu's significant visit to Oman over the weekend, which was, by the way, the first visit of the Prime Minister to an Arab country, to that Arab country since 1996, Transportation Chief Yisrael Katz is now gearing up to follow suit, planning a visit to Oman's capital of Muscat next week. ILTV's Yael Shir has the report. So, Yael, let's begin. What does Katz plan to do in Oman?
So he has plans for a new train line that will connect Israel to the Persian Gulf. The Transportation and Intelligence Minister Yisrael Katz calls this initiative Tracks for Regional Peace, and he was invited by his Omani counterpart and the organizers of the World Congress of the International Road Transport Union to discuss this plan. And it's actually the first time in history that an Israeli minister has been invited to attend an international event of this magnitude in Oman. And it also signifies the growing relationship between Oman and Israel, which has been strengthened by Netanyahu's recent visit. So Katz will be attending this global transportation conference on November 6th through the 8th.
All right, well, I mean, it sounds very exciting. Where will the new train be situated, though?
So the goal is to connect the Mediterranean Sea to the Arabian Gulf by railway, passing through Israel as a land bridge, then through Jordan as a regional transportation center. It will link Haifa with Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the Gulf states.
And what does Katz hope to accomplish with this train? I mean, he calls it Tracks for Regional Peace, so I can kind of gather, but more specifically.
So on the surface, the project aims to create a means of faster and safer transportation of cargo deliveries between countries. But behind the scenes, this could really improve trade relations and diplomacy, ideally promoting a peaceful coexistence. And Katz has been working on this for quite a while. He met with leaders of nearby Arab countries beginning last year. But now that ties with Oman are improving, the plan could really be on the fast track to success.
Oh, well, I have to admit, I'm really surprised to a degree with this, but not just this. It seems that recently more and more Israeli officials have been making diplomatic visits to neighboring Arab countries and publicly, too.
Yeah, that's true. So Foreign Minister Director General Yossi Cohen went to Oman with Netanyahu last weekend. Culture and Sports Minister Miri Regev is currently in Abu Dhabi cheering on the Israeli judo team, which, as you know, won 2 golds and 3 bronze medals. And this Monday, Communication Minister Ayub Kara will be attending an international media conference in Dubai.
All right, well, let's wish this project all the success that it deserves, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens after the conference next week. Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Aaron.
In the latest news regarding a recent Qatari hack of American officials, it seems that outgoing United States Ambassador Nikki Haley may hold the key to prosecution and the pursuit of justice. In late September, it was revealed by former Republican National Committee Vice Chair Elliot Broidy and his legal team that Qatar had orchestrated a massive hack targeting over 1,200 people, including Broidy himself and dozens of other high-ranking officials in American politics, the CIA, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Qatar, and more. According to Broidy's attorney Lee Wolowski, even Bollywood stars like Aishwarya Devan and Anushka Sharma were hit, suggesting perhaps a, quote, frolic of the hackers, end quote. But when Qatar was awarded sovereign immunity in the case last month, Broidy's legal team changed focus in its litigation towards Jamal Ben Omar, who's accused to have allegedly orchestrated the Qatari attack. Ben Omar is a longtime UN official and Moroccan national, however, and he has also now applied for retroactive immunity as a Moroccan diplomat, which brings us to Ambassador Haley. As the United States' ambassador to the UN, Haley has the power to decide whether or not to grant diplomatic immunity retroactively to Ben Omar. And already, many are begging Haley not to cave into political pressures. Greg Roman, director of the Middle East Forum, said that Jamal Ben Omar, who is the alleged leader of a cyber espionage campaign targeting and attacking Americans, quote, should face these charges in court. Allowing diplomatic immunity to be abused in this way sets a dangerous precedent for our country that puts all U.S. citizens at risk, end quote. Haley's office has not yet been reached for comment. Next in the studio today, Aviva Naman has been a painter and sculptor since the early years of her life, and she's been blessed with many successes and awards over the years, including even selling some pieces to the Prince of Monaco. Well, today she is invited to participate in multiple exhibitions, and she joins us now with more on her works and her upcoming show. Please welcome Aviva Naman. Aviva, it's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here. I'm sorry for my voice just now.
It's okay, you don't have to worry. But as I understand it, 93 years old, you're still making art
and a half.
And
I go to work every morning, produce all the time.
Tell me about a little bit about the works that are going to be in this upcoming show.
And the coming show tomorrow is the opening, and it's in the Museum of Jewish Art next to the Echal Shlomo, the main synagogue in Jerusalem. And I show most of my works. If you want to see some, this is a book special taken out for the show. You can see my works.
Yeah. Wow, these are incredible. So this is mostly in silver?
Not silver. This is aluminum.
Aluminum. Beautiful. And are you using your casting? You're working in wax, or what's your process?
I work in wax.
Work in wax?
I can't cast. And I work in a place where they do it.
Wow, these are incredible, though.
Yes, it is.
And so, okay, so
I love it. I think it prolongs my life.
wow. So what's inspiring your work, and what made you kind of start in Judaica? Because you weren't always doing Judaica.
The truth is that I see around me, because I work in a casting place.
Sure.
I see so many coming to the place, asking people to do the specialist. I had another friend that I took with me to the show. She's a great artist. She's a Russian girl, and she came to Israel with a husband, a mother, an old aunt, a blind old aunt, and 2 babies. Can you imagine? She didn't have time to start her career, and she works there as a helper to every artist that comes in need. Do me a finger, do the face for me, do this and that. I decided I don't want it, so I looked for another line. And as I am the 10th generation of the Baal Shem Tov, if you know what it is, I don't know, somehow it led me to that.
That's incredible.
I love it.
So, okay, so you're opening up this next showcase. It's at Echal Shlomo in Jerusalem. It begins tomorrow. Until when? How long is it going to be
They
showing?
say that as long as I want to leave the things there, they'll keep it.
No kidding. That's amazing. And these are gorgeous. So aluminum, and you're using what kind of chemicals maybe to stain them or color them?
No, they do it. They polish it. But
Okay.
I love this. This is Haman HaRasha.
The evil
Making
Haman.
noise.
Sure, the noisemaker for.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Well, Aviva, I absolutely love your work. You have such an incredible kind of vision that you're playing with in your pieces. They really come off as very beautiful and playful and kind of.
And it gives a lot of satisfaction, at my age.
Yeah.
For example, this I did for my great-grandchild that was born, and I did for a glass of something for the bris. This is
Wow, that's
Purim.
beautiful.
A Purim spiel for children and for grown-up. One side is the children's. I love it.
Well, that's just fantastic. Aviva, I love your pieces.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Aviva. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Over the past month, Hurricane Michael, a Category 4 storm, claimed the lives of 36 people across 4 states, and a number of United States response teams that operated in Florida partnered with Israeli-founded drone and augmented reality startup EGBs throughout the 10-day ordeal. ILTV's correspondent Doriel Mizrahi is here with all the details. Doriel?
Thanks, Aaron. So yeah, EGBs has helped tremendously throughout the hurricane in Florida. They have developed a real-time platform that delivers vital information from video footage being captured by drones. This helps lead rescue efforts in natural disasters and public safety incidents.
So how does it work? How do they do this?
Okay, so they do this by combining 3D mapping, data, and live video from the drones in real time. The responders for these disasters already have the drone, but EGB's technology is provided as a real-time mapping solution. It helps them identify important information, to see who's there, to see what's going on.
Wow, so it gives them kind of better eyesight, better details on the ground. How is it utilized then, during Hurricane Michael specifically?
Okay, well, during the hurricane, response teams in Florida used EGB's software solution for rescue and damage assessment efforts. It really helped them understand what is the situation, are there people, and what is the extent of the damage. EGB's also provides situational awareness for those kinds of circumstances. Exactly, that's why they made their product. And even Verizon Wireless used their augmented reality technology to help find damaged electronic infrastructure so teams could fix the damaged cell towers and reestablish communication between networks in the area.
Wow, so it's actually improving the technology on the ground in addition to providing the aid that it's providing.
Yep.
All right, well, Israeli technology never ceases to amaze me. But even more, again, I'm happy to see Israeli startups offering their time to help those in need. So thanks for this report, Doria.
Thank you, Aaron.
And now for our Hebrew word of the day. The Israel Foundation is being recognized for its contributions to the refugee crisis in Germany this week. So today's word is palit, meaning refugee. Refugees or plitim, like those from the Middle East now in Germany or those from Africa now living here in Israel, often endure many hardships before landing in their new and final destinations. Hardships like hunger, lack of shelter, or even terrible abuses and violence. That's why organizations like Israel, which have aided hundreds of thousands of plitim or refugees all over the world, are so important. So please, if you're interested in seeing what you can do for the plitim and for Israel, consider contacting or contributing at israel.org. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. Tonight should be clear and warm with a low of 67 or 19 degrees Celsius. Then tomorrow you can expect sunny skies and no change in temperatures. The high will be around 86 or 30 degrees Celsius. All right, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.71 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at iltv.tv, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Israel English News and on Twitter at ILTV News. I'm Aaron Porras. Thank you for watching.